Welcome to the beautiful Dresden Opera, more commonly known as the Semperoper. As early as 1678, an opera house was built on the current site of the Semperoper, near the Theaterplatz. However, the first Semperoper was built between 1838 and 1841, and has gotten its name from its main architect, Gottfried Semper. The architectural style of the original building has been debated among many, as it has features that appear in early Renaissance style, Baroque, and even features Corinthian-style pillars, which are typical of classic Greek architecture. Perhaps the most suitable label for this style would be eclecticism, a style where influences and parts from many styles are used. As I implied in the beginning, the building you're looking at today is not the original Semperoper. During 1869, disaster struck the opera house as a fire destroyed major parts of it. However, the people of Dresden were determined to recreate the opera to its former glory. For the man in charge of the operation, they wanted the same man who originally built it, Gottfried Semper. There was, however, one small problem. Gottfried Semper had previously been banned and was at the time in exile due to his activities in the May Uprising in Dresden, 1849. The May Uprising was a part of a series of revolutionary events which took place in several German cities at the time, caused by political instability. To solve the problem of his exile, Gottfried had his son, Manfred Semper, complete the reconstruction using his father's plans. The reconstruction was completed in 1878 and looked much the same as the original building, but with a touch of neo-Renaissance style. As if the fire disaster wasn't enough, the Second World War brought even more destruction to the Semperoper. During the Allied bombings of Dresden in 1945, the majority of the building was yet again destroyed. This time reconstruction would be delayed, quite understandably so, considering not only the opera house, but almost the whole city centre of Dresden had been destroyed by the 650,000 bombs were dropped. Exactly 40 years after the bombings, the opera was rebuilt to an almost exact replica of how it was prior to the war. To symbolize that the opera was back, and as a way to put the horrible past behind it, the reopening featured the same opera that was last performed before the destruction in 1945. Weber's Der Freischütz. To top it all off, the opera suffered heavy water damage during the flood of the River Elbe in 2002. However, with substantial help from around the world, it managed to reopen in December, the very same year. Today, the building is considered to be a prime example of Dresden Baroque architecture. If you take a look at the top of the portal, you will see a panther-drawn quadriga with a statue of Dionysus and his intended wife Ariadne. A quadriga is a chariot drawn by 4 animals, and Dionysus is the Greek wine god who represents festivities and joy. Dionysus is also, quite fittingly, known as the protector of arts and theatres. If you look towards the main entrance, you will see 2 larger statues. The main statue on either side are Johannes Wolfgang von Goethe to the left and Friedrich Schiller to the right, both of them famous writers. In niches at the sides of the buildings you will see the statues of many famous art legends, including Molière, Shakespeare, Sophocles and Euripides, as well as Greek and Roman heroes and gods. Not only is the building itself detailed with beautiful sculptures, but there are also some in the surroundings. For example, if you look at the center of the Theaterplatz, in front of the opera house, you will see the statue of the Saxon King John, which was added in 1889. While the exterior of the opera is magnificent, the same is also true for the interior. It was created by several famous architects of the time, together with skilled local craftsmen. If possible, I recommend that you take the time to visit the inside of the opera house. One thing to note inside the opera is that some materials are not what they seem to be. What might look like marble is actually plaster, carefully molded, painted and polished by skilled craftsmen. Even a lot of the wood panelings are done in the same way. This little interesting detail wasn't due to cheapness, but rather the result of the fact that Gottfried Semper believed very much in using local material and craftsmen whenever it was possible. Many people even find the inside more beautiful after they heard that the marble they thought was real was actually a painted replica. The fact that the Semperoper still stands here today, despite its unfortunate and troublesome past, is quite incredible. Even though these are not the same stones and walls that made up the original opera, all the reconstruction and restoration efforts show the people of Dresden's dedication to preserve and protect this magnificent building.